I've decided to make this video as sort of a prediction in relation to the future of Goku Black. And I'll just start off this way. He is going to die. All major Dragon Ball villains have died by the end of their arc, unless they've turned good, which, even then, you've only had one exception since the start of Z, where that was the case. And by major, I'm talking about Vegeta, Frieza, Cell, Boo, that type. Well, you also count Boo, but whatever. So I'm aware that the homeboys over at the studio or Toriyama is plotting out his demise as we speak, or they're awaiting his demise, and people probably have the same theory as well, but it easily leads to the question: okay, who's gonna kill Black? And that is where my answer gets a little shaky, because obviously that's the part that I feel isn't written in stone. Um, but I'm going to give you the worst case scenario. No, I'm going to give you the best case scenario and then the worst case scenario of just what I want to happen. So, Black is in his Super Saiyan Rose form or whatever ascended versions of that we might get, because a lot of these Dragon Ball villains have a history of having, if they have a transformation, there's usually one more, at least two, barring their original form. So he might get a higher form than that even, but we don't know for sure. He's in that form, he's beating up whoever, wreaking havoc, and Vegeta fires some major massive beam at him, and then Trunks gets involved and aids in defeating him. Now that's and what I like about that ending is it would still give Trunks an active involvement in defeating the person who almost single-handedly has ruined his life, while at the same time giving Vegeta a victory, giving him something that people have wanted to see for a long time. They wanted him to be in the hero role. Toriyama himself even said before Resurrection F came out, I'd be interested in having Vegeta as the lead guy, the main guy. I think that'd be the best example, and he's already obviously been getting a lot of focus over the course of Super, um, which in light of his kind of reduced role for most of GT is okay to me. And with that being said, you also have to take into account, which is what is going to be my bad scenario. The other scenario that's good would just be future Trunks defeating Black and killing him. And again, that would probably be the one that would make the most sense from the narrative perspective of this is my enemy, and you've had Trunks struggling. Even when he's fighting him in his dreams, we just saw in the last episode that came out where he was envisioning Black, and he was losing to him in his dreams. I mean, I can do so many things in my dreams I can't even do in real life. Like drink, which I have no interest in doing, but that is that. Now, that's what would make the most sense, at least in my opinion, my view, because he has the whole, this is my villain, this is my antagonist, this is the guy who has wronged me. That's kind of how I feel about it. Just their relationship at this point. This man who's really caused him a lot of harm. It's sort of similar to Goku and King Piccolo during the end of, kind of the second to last saga for the original series, where this is someone who's wronged me and all that. Even though if King Piccolo wasn't the guy who killed his friends directly, it was, his creations, Tambourine, and just that kind of stuff, where there's a personal stake. This person has personally wronged me. Not just, oh, I want to destroy the earth and, oh, I live here too. But they've personally wronged me. And I just think that would be the best way to go about doing that. And then have Vegeta kill somebody else in some other, or have some major role in his defeat. So reverse those two roles even. So again, I think it should either be Vegeta or future Trunks. Trunks, as I called him earlier. But the worst case scenario is Goku goes back to the future. Vegeta and Trunks do okay against him. They are overpowered. Goku wins. The day is saved. The victor, the hero, the guy who has beaten literally every single major villain, with the exception of one, since the start of this franchise. And make no mistake about it, I'm not hating on Goku at all. He's one of my favorite characters in the series. But there comes a point where you have to have some level of growth. Think about the start of Z. Vegeta was over here getting ready to just destroy Earth, had no family, nothing, just was this major killer type individual. Look at him now. Family man, fights for Earth, just all of that. It would be the perfect way to just bring another major part of his character arc to a close. I honestly believe that if he were to do this, because to be honest with you, he could just ignore this completely. He could say, all right, whatever, forget it. I don't need to go back in time and save anybody. But he doesn't because he's a good person now. Still a little rough around the edges, but that's the point. So that's the worst case scenario. Goku wins. Now on to this new form of his that's been leaked online by promotional material, and that looks very cool to me, but very stupid to other people. Super Saiyan Rose. It's a name that I really never thought I'd say. It certainly was surprising to see it online, and I'm sure there are a lot of fans that have their reasons for disliking how it looks. They think pink doesn't go well with Black's character. I think it's a good testament of just irony. You have this thing where pink is associated with femininity, and this guy is anything but feminine or soft or just he's so rough and evil. I don't know. It feels perfect to me. Just that contrast. It's like if you put a guy in green and you say, oh, green is usually the color for being experienced or new, and he's this old, gruzzled or just he's this really experienced guy. That kind of thing where the color scheme, don't judge a book by its cover, basically comes into play. And I think that's always good when you break those stereotypes. I think it looks fine. Honestly, I don't. Even if they complain, they're not going to change it anyway. I could sit here and whine all day about why Black doesn't come back, hasn't come back for the last 3 episodes. He's not going to come back. I'm not going to watch those episodes again. And oh, there he is. But with the form, obviously, we have a title out now that says Super Saiyan Rose appears. I think it's the episode after this one coming out on the 21st, which is in almost 2 weeks from now. And I'm sure we'll get to see that and see the form in action and see, just what he does with it and how strong it is compared to the already established Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan form, the SSGSS. People really changed that name. I have a theory that it's the result of him training in these last 3 episodes and developing that just strength overall because of his extreme workout and having no one to kind of interfere with him because again Future Trunks is out of the timeline, he's trapped in the present, that kind of deal. Now I have one thing I'm wondering though, and let's say if they go back this time and they kill Goku Black and he is defeated, he's dead, Future is restored. What are they going to do about Zamasu? And obviously they can say, oh, they're the same person, but seriously, if they turn out to be two different people, or if they turn out to be the present and future versions of the same person, what would they do with him? And would the arc be over? Because obviously one would say, oh, the arc is over because Future Trunks, his whole thing has been solved. But let's not forget, this is called the Future Trunks saga. That's its terminology under, I guess, just the people who created it. So that doesn't necessarily mean Black's death signals the end, or if he's even really the major villain. Now, granted, we haven't had I take that back. I was about to say we haven't had any minor supporting antagonists who've not had some transformation, who have had the transformation. I was about to say that. I remember Dodoria and Zarbon, so I just crossed that out. I'm really wondering because it makes no sense to introduce Zamasu and have him kind of show signs of turning over unless we get a few things. The first thing is he kills Gowazu, if I'm getting his name correct. He starts making moves that indicate, just how evil he's becoming or how much of a monster he's turning into. That's the only way this makes any sense. Continuing the story beyond Black's death. And even then, I'm kind of disappointed if he actually does die in these next 3 episodes because I don't know, just it feels like you get this cool villain and everybody's so interested in him going, oh, this is so great, so cool, and they're gonna throw him away that quickly, and I really hope that's not the case because again, I want to see more of him, and I think there's more to do with his character. I've already addressed the whole identity thing. At this point, I'm kind of sort of up in the air about it now because we've really been teased both ways. I mean, we had Zamazu come debut about 2 episodes ago. People going, "Oh, it's not Goku Black. He's got different colored earrings." And then he puts on the earring Gowazu gave him. He's like, "Oh, he might actually be him after all." So we really don't know. And even though one could say, "Oh, that's confirmation, the same person," yep, they still could have him just change back to the ones he had before. I don't think that's going to be the case, but anything's possible. I apologize for a little sound effect in the background. I was getting a little jiggy with it, playing some music earlier, and it just popped out. So yeah, that's that. Um, Now I'm interested in what they do with his character in the manga. Now, obviously, the manga is supposed to be telling the same story or close to the same story, so they'll cut out little small, minor details. They'll cut out the fact that, even though Future Bulma dies in both versions, the manga and the show, we only see it in the show. We don't see it in the manga because they're trying to, I guess, save panel time. And by the way, that's another thing. And I'm gonna just get back on topic in a minute. They say they want to save the number of pages, but then they always do this thing where half the page is one picture and it's like somebody smiling or somebody getting punched or just something that takes up, it feels unnecessary to me, those giant enormous pages. I know they're trying to look cool and shock us and go but it feels ridiculous. I don't know, it's just my opinion on that. But again, you see in the manga that he is still floating around the future, that he's chasing Trunks and Mai around, and I'm wondering if how that scenario will play out because see, the manga can't be behind the show for as long, just forever. You can't. You have something coming out once a month. We get about 3 or 4 episodes of Super usually in between. Obviously, they're going on hiatus, which another chapter might come out. I don't think we've had a chapter this month. Uh, so chapter 15 will presumably come out, and if that's the case, they really have to do some real good use of pages and spacing, or just cut everything out, because there's no way they're going to be able to tell the story from the last 7, 8 episodes in you know 2 or 3 chapters before this arc is seemingly I don't want to say getting to its midpoint, but we're definitely going to get further in it. So I just think that the manga is going to really shorten down his whole just character just his appearances. He's going to be in probably about 3 or 4 chapters, and that's it, or 5 or 6, unless they don't care and just go, okay, we'll tell us a good story for the sake of telling a good story. But that is the case with that. So yeah, I really believe I don't know who he is now. If he's referring to Goku Black, I don't know if he's Zamazu or if he's just himself. I'm kind of I would love for him to just be his own character that acquired the body, and then the whole Zamazu thing was just red herring. It would be a really interesting plot twist, and then what they could do after that is kind of have an arc where I don't know, they try to stop Zamazu as he becomes more evil, sort of expanding on his character, like introducing him in this saga and then expanding on the next arc, which is what they did with Ten Shinhan back in Dragon Ball, where he was kind of villainous in his initial arc and then showed up in the next one and was all heroic, or just underwent character development. The best way to put it. Um, I'm closing out now because I don't want to keep talk your ear off forever. The other major thing relating to Black that I really still think is possible, I have this strange feeling he's going to have at the very least one more transformation. I don't know why. Something is just telling me that, and I don't know if it's just a pattern of most of the other major villains from Z having multiple forms and you know just transforming over and over and over and over again. But I have this because there's no I can't figure it in my mind where he just transforms that one time and it's over. It's it. He's his most powerful form, reached his limit. and I don't see it, and I don't see him being just defeated or killed. I can see him losing the fight, but I don't see him being killed in the next 3 episodes when they go Back to the Future. Back to the Future. I know that reference was crappy, but the point I'm making is I don't see him being someone who just is a one note villain. I think he's going to be the major villain of this arc. I think he's going to be around for I think longer than any other villain in Super so far. And I can't picture a scenario where there's nothing for him other than being the lead up to Zamasu. I think he's going to have his own major arc, and that's pretty much all I can. I don't want to say guarantee, but that's what I put my belief in. Now, if you go to just killing, who's going to kill him, and then his transformation, what is that going to do? How strong is it going to be? No idea. We're going to have to wait and see. But that's just my opinion on what will happen with his character. So thank you for watching and have a good day.